This
Yes.
part is perfectly you agree with the online platform because it is easiest way in now era. And but I need to concern about the school library. Do you think that uh, it is not convenient for you to access the information by the printed based collection? That means a printed based collection. Do you have access any printed based collection based on your experience in the school library? I think I skipped this one. So I want you to tell me, do you have any? Did you prefer to borrow some printed based collection or print out uh, your your resource? That means and then to check out which is useful in your research or essay.
Okay, so okay, one, the school library, you mean offline, a physical book, and online platform. I am a very mobile person, so I definitely prefer online. I do understand the value of books, and sometimes you delve more into them. And if you have a physical book, you might concentrate more. But at the same time, as you might know, right now I'm in Italy. I cannot access Hong Kong books, and I have a few books that I would like to access, mostly old ones, and I cannot. I'm simply too far, and now there is COVID. So I definitely value the opportunity to access online files, online material.
Okay.
And I think that books should stay, and for some people, they're useful. But at the same time, sometimes I do need a very specific piece of information in a 400 pages book. And if it's in PDF, I can just type and find the 2, 3 pages in which I can find this specific information. If the book, I think, or someone told me that there is some information, but I have to read or even skim through it, it's very difficult. So I think that for researcher, having the online platform and PDF or EPUB version is very, very, very useful and almost necessary. And now with COVID and limited access to databases, and in an increasing, how do you say, increasing decentralized remote working. I mean, I'm at home, Hong Kong or in Japan, or I don't know, and I want to access a book through my library in Hong Kong, and if it's not online, it means that I will never be able to access this source. So it's limiting. I am definitely in favor of digitalization of every possible source, old and new.
Okay. So before we move on to the next part, that means I already know you agree with the digital transition. That means the online access. So, and then for our final part, we will ask the question is that do you totally agree the digital transition of the collection in the library? And then you can answer it in the final 15
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah, yeah. Sure, sure,
Okay.
sure, sure.
So that and now I need to find out this three question. Is this I can find enough detail about the user and the participant perspective. So, and as I understand the structure of the information science, and then the second period is they think information science is a library science. That means to access information. And then for the final one, that means 21st century, and then uh, to I need to find the link key because I have shared something. I found. Let me find this one. Yeah, this one. Yeah, the information science now is excels six important overlaps: social, communication, collection, and technology. And the first part I asked you is for the collection. That means how you access the collection. And then when I ask you the technology and the communication is you usually use access the Google Scholar. It is a technology overlap. And for our study, it is mainly the social overlap because we understand the social science academic field and your part, the volunteer service is communication overlap because you spread the information through the news. And another correction is what we have a dynamic digital transition or traditional way printed based. So for the following is about your teaching experience. For example, you teach me two courses in CityU. One is about the media and information literacy. That means use the media to be the inspire the students to have an innovative discussion about how they think about the topic. So I think it is working. And for the another one, the tutorial, or I think also is another media because media is have a spread definition because I joined the workshop that is because I create another
Mm,
link and then
mm,
I make a blog about this one International Federation of Library
mm.
Association
Oh, wow,
and
interesting.
for the this one Hong Kong share the teaching experience is about to for the teenagers not just inform them about the definition of the stereotype about beautiful is for them to critical thinking and how they treat about the stereotype but not to inform them what they do but I have a doubt that is about the fake news and misleading from the media but um so um I will use this 5 minutes before the second part. I will ask you. So, what do you think about misleading from the media based on your teaching experience and your academic experience? Misleading from the media. For example, the election from the United States, the advertisement will mislead the citizen to believe the terms that the president um, that means the one who wants to be the president, that means their concept, but without any reliable source, and they misunderstand this word or this term means that something like that. So, what do you think about that?
Okay, I mentioned something about it before. I think one should try to detach from his or her own thinking and try to investigate, even asking people he or she trusts, what kind of information are more reliable. And at the same time, I suggest always to check multiple sources because there are many that are incredibly biased and partisan. And we have the example of American election in which quite a lot of media they were reporting one thing and a few niche media that I would say very biased they were reporting the opposite. And I do believe that you can say that they were fake news, they were supporting an agenda instead of reporting the reality. So, first of all, in media, especially in social media, if you see all caps and some buzzword like
Especially the Instagram always spread the fake news, and I will not spread the fake news, but for the useful information in the library service or
yes.
and the currently one of the exchange student introduced the European grantee to me, and I joined the Q&A session.
Nice,
and
nice.
and then I also have a question about their organization role to provide the information. Is it reliable or they can balance because the China have something biased to China. For example, the Taiwan U.S. will use Taiwan to be the evidence to attack, and then to say something destroy the agreement in the diplomacy in the past 30 years. For example, the I cannot remember the one of the government staff in U.S. say Taiwan is not part of China, but in fact, the U.S. is agreed that the one China policy. So it is that's why the social media and I think uh, the officer need to respond it with have a responsibility. So that but some fans of uh, Donald Trump agree with that or some Taiwanese will agree with that because they don't like China, something like that. So I think that is uh, so the self-generated query is very important because it is the step for them to find the information. So that is one. I think
Yes.
your explain is support that self-generated query is what the
Yes.
first step for them to clarify the information. Although we will be affected by the emotion, but this one is the first step to know the fact more more in the whole picture. I will describe it as a whole picture, and school library is the tool and also the guidance for students to access the information and help them to set the goal or to clarify something. So this my understanding. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, no, I think your summary is right, and yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and I do definitely prefer the self-generated one.
So